Good morning, Jen.
Thank you, Deb. That was beautiful. Ah, man, what a sea of amazing faces. Hi. So, the theme for 2025 is Rising Higher, Growing Deeper. The theme for September is Transcendent Purpose. There's a lot in those two words. Today's topic is Mission Possible. Ernest Holmes writes, "There is nothing in the universe that limits you or could desire to limit you. There is nothing in the universe that withholds from you, because in so doing, it would withhold from itself. You are part of its purpose. Spirit seeks, urges, and pushes you to fulfill itself."
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. You are part of its purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Spirit seeks, urges, and pushes you to fulfill itself.
Yes. All
That's
right.
why we're here.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so in the book of Matthew, chapter 19, verse 26, I love this. With God, all things are
Possible. Yes. Yeah.
So let us affirm together. I have tears in my eyes.
Yes, yes.
I know
No.
that
Anything is possible.
And don't you forget it.
Go, Jen! Yeah.
So now,
Yeah.
Reverend Kathleen.
Go, Jen.
Okay.
Mission possible. Yeah, we are possibilitarians, aren't we? Possibilitarians. For us, mission possible is the declaration that we make wherever we go. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. All things are possible with God. So we come from that place of knowing our divine connection, our unity with all that is. So on that note, I was thinking about the scientists who delved into the field of all possibility and potentiality and came up with the idea of making burgers from plants, right? So think about that. They're visionaries, and so they're thinking beyond meat, the next evolutionary step of food. And then at the same time, I was thinking, and all the animal kingdom is rejoicing, right? So today the focus is Mission Possible, and with a particular emphasis on hope. We're going to be looking at this idea of hope. Sometimes in the past, I know people have said, well, you want more than hope, you want faith. However, we don't want to underestimate the value of hope, the power of hope. It is truly a spiritual power that we can tap into that helps us be the possibilitarians to the fullest extent. That idea of hope that is active, not passive. It's not passive wishful thinking. It's active. It encourages us to move into action, to take charge of our lives and move forward. Hope. Hope is definitely something that is required as we move through this this world today, isn't it? Staying rooted and grounded in hope. Because if we begin to move into hopelessness or powerlessness, then we're not doing our part in moving forward as ourselves, collectively as our community, but also as our world. We have a really vital part to play. And hope is a wonderful quality to cultivate. So today is about cultivating greater and greater sense of hope, so that when we move through life, no matter what the appearances are, we stay rooted in the vision, a world that works for all, heaven on earth, and we keep moving forward. So hope comes from the understanding that all things are possible with God. It is a power that turns dreams into lived experience. And psychologist C.R. Snyder says, emphasizes this idea of thinking and doing. It has two aspects. It's thinking and believing that we can, and then doing it. Think and do. And I was thinking about when I was a school counselor. I was a school counselor for a period of time at one school for K through 8th. That was at St. John the Beloved. And then I was a school counselor for a period of time at McCullough Elementary School for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. And so one of the programs that I have some water here today. One of the programs that I did as a school counselor with small groups was called the Pumsey program. And Pumsey was a dragon, and he had a human boy that was a friend. And what they did was they would, plan things together. And Pumsey was like this very naive little dragon, and was going to school as well as the little boy. And there was one day when Pumsey decided to go to school and take a test with positive thinking alone. So had the thinking part down. I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. But when he got to school, he failed the test, and he talked to his human friend. His human friend said, it's think and do. You can think positive, but you also got to study. You got to do both of them together. Think and do. So that's what hope does. Hope activates both of those qualities: the positive thinking, the optimism, the vision, and the action. And so the two pieces that the psychologist C.R. Snyder used to describe that he says that are essential for this think and do aspect, he called one pathways. And that's where hope encouraged us to rely on the unlimited creative potential of the universe. And that means pathways, that the universe provides pathways, provides a vision, guidance, resources, connections with other people, whatever you can think of, that these pathways are provided by the Spirit. That's the all-providing, belief in the all-providing nature of Spirit. So that's pathways. The other one is agency. And this is where we have the with God, I can do it attitude. And then we realize that we are agents of change. We are agents or co-creators with God. And therefore we move into action. Even when there are setbacks, we persist, we feel empowered, we feel motivated. That's agency. When you combine those two together, pathways and agency, you can overcome all obstacles. Overcome all obstacles. And I'd like to share a story that illustrates that so beautifully. It's a story of a humble farmer by the name of Thomas. He lived in a village that was nestled in the hills of Mount Kilimanjaro in Kenya. And he was faced with, like so many other Kenyans, with drought. Cracked earth, where his field normally is. Day after day after day of no rain. And then desperation was creeping in for him because he had a family to support. He had, he normally crops were part of the way that he supported his family. And so he decided to turn to God, to turn within and pray. So he prayed. One night he prayed all night long, and suddenly he had this vision. And the vision was one of bountiful rain followed by a bountiful harvest. And so, empowered by that vision, he was also given the picture of building a reservoir, digging a reservoir, and an irrigation system, and planting seeds. So he began doing that. And the villagers heckled him and laughed. They thought how foolish this man was to be doing this in the midst of this drought that's been going on for weeks and weeks and maybe even months. But the vision kept pulling him forward. Hope was within him. He was full of hope that this vision that was provided was there for a reason. And so he dug his hours and hours digging out this huge reservoir, building all the pieces and parts of building the irrigation system. And then as he planted his last seed, he felt a cold drop on his arm. And he looked up, and gentle rain began to fall. Can you imagine? After the last seed, gentle rain began to fall. And then it continued to fall, and it continued to fall. And pretty soon the reservoir was full, and the irrigation system was working, and the crop was bountiful. And all the while that the rain began to fall, he could hear his fellow villagers rejoicing and jumping up and down. And he was prepared. He was prepared. It kind of reminds me of Noah and the ark story, following God's guidance, and then you're ready. What a beautiful story of someone filled with hope, someone who believed in the all-providing nature of God, and believed that and listened to what the pathways were, the things he had to do to get ready. All of those pieces. Think and do. The vision, the ideas, and then the action. Hope, an amazing, amazing quality for us as possibilitarians. So here's the cool thing about hope. Psychologists have done a lot of studies about hope, comparing people who have a lot of hope and people who don't, and they find out that people with hope are more resilient, of course, more resilient, better health, more successful. Oh, what are the other things that they have down here? Better problem solvers, perform better in school and work, lower levels of anxiety and depression. Wow, and the good news is that we can develop hope. If we'd like to kind of bump up our hope level, we can do it, and guess how we do it as New Thought, Science of Mind practitioners? Sing? Okay. Yeah, that works too. Particularly when you sing uplifting songs. Yes, spiritual mind treatment, spiritual practices in general. That's how we build hope. And we, in the newsletter at the end of every month, I trust all of you are reading all of the demonstrations. And I know there's so much more because not everybody submits their demonstrations, but we usually have somewhere around 25 or 30 every month that I'm aware of. And an awful lot of them were my sisters this month. I think a lot of them were. But the point is that when we work it, it works. Daily practice is so important. meditation. The three pillars that we teach here: meditation, spiritual mind treatment, which is affirmative prayer, and visioning. And visioning, catching a higher vision for our lives. So, my friends, I'd like you just to quickly turn to someone and share how your spiritual practice and even just being a part of this community has raised your level of hope. Okay? Michelle and Susan? Oh. Oh, I'm just going to have to say, that's okay, I'll just do ding. Okay, I don't have my ting shaws, they're up on the stage, so I'm going to say ding, ding. Let's turn around. That was lots of good conversation. So exciting. Okay, my friends, hope. Mission possible. Mission possible. With hope as possibilitarians, we can accomplish amazing things. We can truly live the idea that all things are possible with God. And we can build within ourselves resilience and build resilience in our community. And as we support each other in building hope and resilience, think of what we can do and what we can accomplish together. We've accomplished so much already, but I'm inviting us all to take it to the next level by bumping up our level of hope and by acting upon those urges to move forward in the direction of our dreams, individually and collectively. And so I am envisioning a world where hope is the norm among humanity. And we are very much a part of allowing that vision to come into manifestation. So let's turn within in prayer. In the pure joy and satisfaction that comes as we rest in God, as we rest in the pure awareness that God is all there is, that in God all things are possible because God is infinite universal mind in which infinite possibility and infinite potentiality is available 24/7 to each and every one of us as points of consciousness in that universal mind. We are inlets and outlets of wonderful ideas, wonderful visions that pull us forward into freer, fuller, more expanded expression as we allow ourselves to be guided by that deep inner voice within, as we allow ourselves to live from a place of transcendent purpose. Yes, whatever mission we are given is possible. We live our possibilities. We are living examples of all things are possible with God. So it is with a heart full of gratefulness that I release this word to the action of universal law, and I invite all of us to accept the truth of our being, possibilitarians, full of hope, full of grace, and say together, yes, and so it is. Amen. Thank you, my friends.